Good morning. I'm calling to order the meeting of the Cable Advisory Committee at 10:07 a.m. on November 19th, 2020. Present are Deb McGee, clerk, Tom Cole, vice chair, and myself, Mia Baumgarten, chair. And welcome everybody. I see nobody from the public. It's just the three of us so far. And we have a couple of items for business today. Really, we are here to talk about the Comcast draft license agreement, which the select board is going to discuss at their meeting on Tuesday night. And they've asked us to go over it beforehand and discuss amongst ourselves to see if we have anything to say. I think Bill Hewig is supposed to be there at their meeting. And they want to know if we have any opinion about it other than yes or no. I would like us to vote on it today to say either that we approve it for the 10-year period or we don't. What I've sent to you is the copy of the license agreement itself, plus the memo from TA Maria Broadbent, which picks up most of the salient highlights. I will note that I edited the second line in her highlight, which the way she wrote it, it mentioned two different sources of money as one, and basically I clarified the point to say that the department will be independently funded by Comcast for 10 years. There's ample funding that they're providing us. There is no reason to expect that we would need to ask for taxpayer money over the next 10 years, which is the duration of the license agreement, which I think I will emphasize to the select board as well on the 24th, because I know that operating revenue is a big sticking point right now. So with that said,
do you expect any pushback from the select board?
I don't, mostly because of two things. One of them is that there should be no reason for us to ask them for money, which is good. And the other part of it is that we did get an upgrade to the availability of Comcast service. So every residence within the town where minimum density is at least 15 dwelling units per aerial mile and 20 dwelling units per underground mile as measured from Comcast's existing equipment. The current density rate is 25 per mile aerial and 25 per mile underground. So
What
that
page
is
that on?
I'm sorry, it's
What
no,
page is that on?
I can find it, but I'm just reading from Maria's highlights right now.
Oh, okay. So it's not in the contract. Okay.
It is, but she in her memo, she noted the difference between what we're getting now and what we had before, which is not noted in the contract. So we have improved by 10 by 10 dwelling units per aerial mile and 5 dwelling units per underground mile. And I think that what the select board was pushing for throughout this whole process was more availability of service. So that is a pretty big step.
Yeah.
Good. Absolutely.
Yes. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy that they are continuing to fund us. I'm happy that they're continuing to fund Lower Cape TV. This is better than where I thought we were going to be a year or two ago when it looked like they were trying to phase us out altogether. And one of the very few silver highlights of this pandemic, I think, is that it's emphasized the need to fund really robust virtual and telecommunications. And so I think that they know it would be a very bad move to back off from that right now. So this is a very beneficial 10-year agreement, in my opinion. Tom, as the voice of institutional memory, I would love to hear what you think about this and whether you think it's a good contract.
Yeah, I think it's a good contract. It's basically pretty much the same. And I know this is what the attorneys were negotiating with the town and stuff like that. So we got our 5% is perfect. You know, they didn't back off of that. Didn't expect them to, but the capital to me is low, but maybe that's all we're going to get out of it. I'm not being in the meetings to know, but it's going to be a bit of a stretch between us and Lower Cape TV. That money is going to be tight, but we do have a good 5%, which should help. I think that was kind of the understanding, Deb, if you remember that part of it when we were talking about it with Teresa and Solomon. So, right? Yeah. So outside of that, I think it's good. I kind of tried to look through it. A lot of it is just the same old, and the only thing I found in And the license that was just an outright error, of which has probably been in there before, and it probably doesn't mean anything. It's in the very first section where it refers to the mayor of Wellfleet. And of course,
Yes.
we have a mayor, so that's the only thing I'd ever bring up about it is, this isn't technically correct, but at the end of the thing, you have all the select board signing it. So I guess that's basically because the select board is the licensing agent, not the
Body.
mayor.
I did
That-
notice that. I assume that this is also in every other Outer Cape contract, all the towns that don't have mayors, but if they ask
Probably
about
so.
it, yeah,
It's
can
just
always edit it.
what it is, so it's.
I know, mayor of Wellfleet. I did think the capital was low. I agree. I looked more into it and it looks like, so that capital payment of 12,780 cannot be used for operations, only for capital builds, but the 5% can conversely be used for operations and capital builds. So should we need to do something like build out another room with cameras, we are fully able to do that from that 5%.
Yeah.
So I think that's how they get away with giving us a little bit of a lowball number on the capital. But like you said, without us saying like we need exactly this amount because we're going to move from Studio A to Studio B without having an impetus like that, I think they were like, this is what you get. So not too bad.
Oh,
Deb-
it's a good one. Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I say all in all, it's a good one, and I'm glad that Maria was noting that the towns are sticking together in this and aren't going to be separate, which is really the strength of the whole thing. I think.
Agreed. I was very pleased by that. Yeah. Deb, have you had time to scan just the highlights? Do you have any questions or?
Whoops.
Okay.
Hello, there it is. It looks, aside from that error that you picked up, it looks fine. And, it'll enable us to continue working.
Yep.
And working at a level that we're used to. So I guess that's the good news. And really all the select board has to do is approve it. Is that right?
They have to sign it, right? They have to vote to sign it, basically, right, Tom?
Yeah, they have to prove it and sign it, and that's the process. I think it's pretty much a done deal at that point. So
Yeah.
Comcast has to sign it, but obviously, that's already in place. So
Yeah.
They initiated it, though. This is a Comcast document.
yeah, it's a back and forth thing. They send they negotiate back and forth what should be in it, but most of it, 95% of it is boilerplate kind of stuff. Stuff can happen there if you don't keep an eye for it, but I didn't see anything in some sudden change. But I know Solomon would keep an eye on that, so I'm not about that. So, and I guess you would too,
Mhm.
not knowing him as well.
And this is, we're only seeing it now, but this is the product of over a year of negotiations because
I think so.
PA had been negotiating them back in like the end of 2019 when we provided him the information from the survey we did about how many people, about how the big thing here was really get us more service to more people.
Mhm.
And so this is the final product, and I think they were basically looking for, is there anything here that's jumping out at us as being really unacceptable, which I didn't see. I was pleased on both counts.
Have
So
you
you-
discussed this with Jennifer at all, since she's not here to participate in the meeting?
Do I know what Jennifer thinks? I don't know what Jennifer thinks about it. I know that her priority is always getting people service, and that the library has been kind of a strained place to do that because there's only so many people who can make it here, especially now. There's only so many hotspots they have. So I know that the expansion of home service is going to be beneficial to the library in the long run.
Mhm.
And yeah, I don't know I will certainly ask her if she sees anything in particular about this. But I think that I sent this to her a couple of weeks ago when I sent it to you guys. And I think that if she had seen anything objectionable, she would have let me know. And again, I know that her big thing was let's get service to people, and this helps us do
Mhm.
that. So. But I will check in with her, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Um, yeah,
Certainly want her opinion on things, since this matters probably most to her than to some others.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I'll check in with her before. So segue to the timeline of this. 11/24 is their next meeting, and they invited all of us to be there. So like I said, I'll check in with Jen beforehand. We can all go. I can just go. I'll be broadcasting the meeting anyway, so I'll just pop on to the actual Zoom meeting and I'll answer any questions. You're all more than welcome to be there. I think that basically they're just going to say, are you happy with it? And we'll just deliver our vote and answer whatever questions they have. I'm not sure what else they would really ask besides maybe to say aloud the figures that we've expanded the service into the dwelling units. And I'm going to reassure them that we're not going to be part of their operating expenses for the foreseeable future.
Mhm.
Do you think it's a good idea for us to attend that meeting, or does it not matter?
I
since-
do. I think it's a good idea. I think it shows that we as a committee have been engaged with this and that we are receptive to the public and that we're here to help. But I also don't think you should feel like it's compulsory, because I'll definitely be there to give us to give them our voice. But yes, I would love it if you would both be there as well. I don't know exactly where we'll be on the agenda, but when they post it, I'll take a look. I
Oh,
imagine
usually at the bottom, right?
probably at the bottom where we
Very
usually
bottom, 2 hours in. Oh, by the way,
Yeah. But you get to do it from home. So, watch a movie, have some popcorn, and then I'll text you and you can just pop right on.
There you
that's an
go.
idea.
Yeah.
So when you say attend, you mean Zoom attending, right?
I
Zoom.
do. Yes, it's all virtual. It's all virtual.
What time is that meeting? I know they're on a regular.
They have moved it back to a 6 p.m. start time. So they're on their winter time. And let me check real quick, because I think actually Courtney may have posted the agenda today. Yep, 6 p.m. start time. No, she did send out a draft a draft agenda to the department heads, and we're not on it yet. But I will make sure. Oh no, we are. I'm sorry. We are agenda item 2E. So that's really not that far down. We're after several appointments and a mass DOP presentation. So I would say an hour to an hour and a half in, we should be up. But I'll let you know when the agenda is finalized.
Great.
And yeah, are there any other questions or discussion on this before we talk about voting to approve?
Well, I see on the schedule that there's another public hearing involved, and that's pro forma. I think that happens, and
Yeah.
I think the vote is on December 8th, the final, I guess. We'll vote on the lease.
Yes.
Lease, what is
But
that?
not a whole lot of time for the public hearing. I guess that gives people a week to give their voice. And I think the public hearing, it's a good idea so that anyone, because now I think that the text of the license agreement should now be public after the select board meeting. So if any citizens want to read it and pick out anything they want to talk about for themselves, they can certainly do that at the public hearing. But I do think the biggest citizen issue was the distribution of service approved. So
Yeah.
we'll see what we get from the public. But I do think that we should come to the 11/24 meeting saying that we approve or disapprove as a committee, so they have somewhere to start from.
Absolutely. Oh, good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at this point, I mean, the public hearing is really just what's the word I'm looking for? It almost doesn't matter.
I think it's a formality. I don't totally
Yeah.
know. Tom was here before, I was not, but I think it's mostly a formality to say, this is when your comments can be entered into the public record, should
Mhm.
you have something to say about this license agreement. But yeah, the negotiations have been going on for over a year, and we have had 2 public hearings in that time. And so I think that if comments from the public had been intended to change the negotiations or the text, that time has come and gone. And now it's sort of anyone who wants to get their comments submitted to the Library of Congress. This is the time to do it.
Right, to just go on record
Yeah,
more
exactly.
than anything else, right? Because, I mean, there's no opportunity for
so.
change or,
I think
We're
the only
done.
thing we could do at this point is not sign it, in which case, like they did so many years ago, Tom, we could not sign it and try to force something else out of them, but that's not really the situation any of the towns are in right now.
Well, yeah, the last time we did not sign it, we refused to sign it. That was
Yeah.
the previous one. And so it dragged on for a while, but they finally, I thought it was beautifully executed and we got what we wanted, which was,
Yeah.
but it took that because it wasn't even anywhere near that at the time. So it was like 3%, instead of 5, that type of thing. But obviously, I don't think we have that issue here at all.
No.
In fact, banded together, I think, and showed them the same sort of resolve, so to speak, that they weren't going to fight on that. So
Mhm. Yeah, that's my feeling too. And I haven't heard anything from the other towns about not being satisfied or wanting to negotiate further. So I think that this is, given that it's 2020, this is about as good as we could have hoped for.
Yeah.
I'm pleased, and I'm looking forward to continuing to help provide telecommunications for the town for however long we're going to be doing this virtual thing. And this allows us to continue to have flexibility. So I think this is good.
all right.
yeah,
Would anybody like to make a motion?
Well,
I'll move.
one of us, okay, so
Yeah.
Tom moved.
All right.
Second.
Let's just get the text of the motion. So Tom, are you moving to approve the 10-year Comcast license agreement starting from the year 2021 to the year 2031? Those are the dates, correct? Because it doesn't officially take effect until the previous lease expires, which is January 31st. Let's see.
I think it says December 1, but at least on the memo here, but I don't know. But anyway,
You're right. No, let's just get the date. So it's December 1, 2020, a 10-year lease beginning on December 1, 2020. Let's just say that. So Tom votes to approve the 10-year Comcast license agreement effective December 1, 2020. Shall we say that?
sounds good.
Okay.
Sure.
Very well said, Tom.
I do second, and if I have issues with exactly how to, what's the word I'm looking for? Put it into the minutes, I will get in touch with somebody, one of you, probably
Perfect.
you, Mia.
That's fine.
So
Yes.
we're approving it as of December 1st of this year.
Correct. So the effective, there's an overlap. The existing lease expires January 31st, 2021. You don't have to put this in.
Right.
But the new lease is effective December 1st, I believe. The date can be changed if desired.
Just, okay, sorry.
No, it's fine.
Okay, so it's 21, it's December 1st, 20 through 2031, and that would be, is that December 31st, 2031, or do we not care?
I think we should say,
I mean,
let's just
November
say 10-year lease to begin December 1, 2020. Because that's how it stands right now. I don't think there's a written end date for it because 7 years in, what if they decide we're going to make it a 20-year lease? I don't know. But let's say for now, we're approving a 10-year license agreement effective December 1st, 2020.
Okay,
Okay.
that's good. Mm-hmm.
So Tom moved it. I seconded. Any further discussion on the motion?
No.
All
Okay,
right. Take your
got
time.
that, I think.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That is 3-0, 300. Yeah, so just record that Jen was not present for the vote. But 3 is still a quorum, as we are technically a 5-person board.
Excuse me. Okay. You would mention, since I have no voice this morning, and I don't know if
Either.
to bring it up. This is just morning. It takes hours before it goes
time.
away. Morning allergies.
Yeah, I'm allergic to waking up early.
Exactly. I'm just allergic to my house, I think. Excuse me. You had mentioned that you met somebody who was interested in
Yes.
this committee and you were going to investigate that person. Are you
Oh,
ready to
that's
talk
really, I investigate. I haven't investigated him, but I am excited about him. Investigate.
about
Yes, that's what I wanted to talk about next. So let's,
it? Oh, okay.
anything else to talk about with the license agreement? Anything, anything else from anybody? I'm happy. We voted on it. I will be present at the 11/24 meeting. Please come if you can. If not, it's all right, but you're always welcome to be there.
Mhm.
Okay. So yes, we have coincidentally on the 11/24 meeting, the select board will be voting to approve a new member, to appoint a new member to our board. I guess I won't go into detail about him until they officially vote to approve or disapprove, but he emailed me a couple of weeks ago. He's very interested in our board. He has extensive experience in telecommunications. He seems very personable. He seems very enthusiastic about working with us. He's sort of a citizen who's invested in expanding Comcast to expanding access to the town. And even though we are wrapping up the terms of the license agreement right now, there will be plenty to do as that goes on. And so I would be very happy to have him on the board. We'll have a chance to watch the select board interview him on the 11/24 meeting. And then I'm assuming that they appoint him, he'll join us for our next meeting and we can get to know him.
So he will be at the 11/24 meeting.
He will, virtually, yes. Yep, he is agenda number. He's like 2C or 2B, so he's before
Oh,
us.
he's still up there.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
And I forwarded you his initial email, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
that I have.
Because I think if this were normal times, he would have come to a meeting and we would have gotten to know him that way. But because this is all virtual now, that was the introduction that I have. You know about as much as I do. But again, I think he would round us out nicely, given that some of us are staff members and he would be another citizen voice, which would be great.
Has he met with Maria?
I don't believe so. I believe that his first introduction to the administration will be on the 24th.
So is that a requirement for his approval
For him to meet personally with Maria, or
or Zoom?
no, he doesn't have to meet individually with her because he's not being appointed by the town administrator, he's being appointed by the select board. So he just has to meet with them in public or in open session, at which point they can vote to approve or disapprove. I don't imagine that there's any reason they wouldn't vote to approve him unless we had told them we didn't want him to join.
Mhm.
Usually the only times I've seen that not happen is if there's a bunch of people competing for one spot and they have to pick. But we have an open spot. We've had it for a while. And he seems like a great candidate to fill it. So,
Actually, I think it's good news to finally get some fresh blood.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
I have a thought about this, though. I was looking at his credentials and experience and that type of thing. pretty obvious that he's coming from a technical side and I would imagine primarily from an internet side of things
Mhm.
in terms of us. And that's fine. That's an addition that we don't really have. But the only thing I have a concern about is that there's been other access groups, committees in other towns where more than one of those folks came on. Basically, when people come to us, they're not really coming to us for cable TV. They're coming for internet. So we politely tell them that we don't have anything to do with the internet, that that's part of the cable TV license, and that's all we're really about.
Mhm.
But there's been other committees. I think of Truro one time, it just ground to a halt. And I think Orleans had an issue with it where that became the focus and it became so intensive a focus that it kind of interrupted the issue, what we were really about and able to do. I don't foresee that necessarily happening here, but it just is a caution light to me that has happened before, but he'll be not in the majority on that by any stretch. I think it's more problem when there's a majority of folks on the committee that want to focus on just the technical internet side of things. And
Well,
even
we
though,
won't let that happen.
well, they just would have,
We're, as a committee, we won't let that happen because,
right. Because we all know
we've got to focus and he can fold right into our focus
that's right.
and lend
Just
his
saying.
expertise. What'd you say?
I say, I'm just saying,
Yeah, I know. But if that becomes an issue, I don't know how else to say it, but there's more of us than of him. And, we've been working on this for a while. Tom, you've been working on this, seems like forever. So
yeah.
I don't see.
Or so. Yeah, so my
So
second.
I guess I don't see that as a problem unless it becomes a problem, I would say.
Yeah.
Agree
Yeah, I
with
don't
that.
expect it. It's just, it just rang a little bell in my head about watching other committees grapple with.
Mhm.
I shouldn't even bothering with. So
Yeah, I think that's a good point to be aware of, and I certainly want everyone to help keep us on track. And we do better when we have a singular focus. But on the other hand, I looked at his qualifications, and I was excited, first of all, because he's vastly overqualified to talk to us, which is very exciting for me. And also because we are a TV committee, we get our license, we get our money from the TV license, but in 2030, if we're going to start thinking about prepping for the next round now, which I would like not to think about, but I'm sure we should start laying the groundwork, there may not be cable TV in 2030. We are going to have to shift to this paradigm of getting revenue from internet streaming service fees, which we will, which is what's going to happen. When I went to that public access conference in Maine last November, they were talking about that exactly. They were saying fewer and fewer people are subscribing to regular cable TV. Everyone is going to streaming services, which are still provided by the internet, which is still provided by public access pathways. So how do we get revenue from there? So I think that looking to the future, we can only do well by positioning ourselves to be more informed about that.
Mhm.
And so
I
for
agree.
that reason, among others, I'm excited to have someone who's got that kind of extensive communications background to talk to us.
Mhm.
Um,
I agree.
yeah.
Good. Well, I'm happy to have another person on the committee. I think
Yeah.
it's time.
Yeah, I think so. I
It's
think that's
time,
gonna be
especially
good.
when you think about that, I'm the only person who doesn't get paid by the town. So,
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
yeah, so it's kind of an awkward situation in terms of that. So there'll be a nice balance in having a true volunteer
Yeah, I
come
agree.
into the fold.
Mhm. Okay. What else are we looking at? So that all of that's going to happen on the 11/24 select board meeting. So again, I invite you to join us for that.
Mhm.
There is a person in the waiting room. The name is just George. I'm not sure who this is. So hopefully it's not spam, but I will go ahead and admit that person in case it's a citizen who wants to talk to us.
Mhm.
So stand by.
Excuse me. I'll try to be as quiet as I can.
Okay. And while this person is connecting to audio and video, maybe to spam, I can't tell. Do we have any edits to Deb's excellent minutes of September 10th, 2020?
I don't see any.
I filled in, the only thing I filled in, Deb, was where you left open the spot for me to put in the number of committees, which we went from recording 1 to over a dozen, which is what I put in, because it sort of, once COVID hit, it all became a little bit of a moot point, but we did have a rapid acceleration right before then. And all the other information I thought in those minutes was perfect and clearly articulated and just excellent, as always.
Well, hopefully this one will be as well. I'm a little out of my depth right now, so we'll see.
Okay, there's always the recording, so don't worry about it.
Yes, and then it just, I'll send it to both of you before we publish it, just to make sure that it's sort of on track.
That would be great.
And then you can do whatever edits you want, and then we can publish it as, I don't know if that's legal or not, but.
We can edit them, we just can't, we still have to vote to approve the edits in public session.
Okay.
So I can't, we can't change the minutes after the fact and then publish them, but that's fine. If we have edits, we know what to do. We'll just vote on them and.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would like to make a motion to approve Deb's minutes of September 10th, 2020.
I'll second.
Okay. Any more discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, 300. Deb, did you send out the minutes of our October meeting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Did
I
you
don't-
not get them?
Now I think I didn't get them. Or
Oops.
probably I did and they disappeared in my inbox. So that's okay. It's probably me. If you wouldn't mind, whenever you send these, if you wouldn't mind sending those again, and then we'll just vote to approve. At some point in the future, we'll approve all of them as a batch.
Mhm.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. George, I'm not sure who you are, but welcome to the Cable Advisory Committee meeting. If you'd like to unmute and ask us something, we're happy to have you do so. All right, perhaps that's someone who's come on in error. Okay.
No, I just kind of dialed in to see what was going on.
Oh, hi. Well, welcome.
Hello?
How'd you come? We're just about to close the meeting.
Yeah, I got to it late. That's fine.
It's okay. The recording will be posted on the YouTube channel in case you'd like to go back
Okay.
to close
Yep.
Deb's minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, if there's any particular question, we're happy to answer while we're here.
Nope, I was just dialing in to see what was going on.
Awesome. Well, welcome. We love it when
Okay.
people come to visit.
Okay.
All right, so we have discussed the license agreement. We have discussed preparing for the select board meeting. We've approved Deb's minutes. Is there any other business to come before the committee?
I think we're good.
I'm
Nope.
happy. Thank you, as always. I expect that we will have a meeting either December or January to go over the public hearing. Should we get any information from that we didn't have before, I'd like us to just be aware of it. Any update from Lower Cape TV, by the way? Other than that, they're included in the contract and they're getting funded.
Not really.
Okay, that's fine.
We're grappling with a few things, and one is, where we're going to live, when and if construction starts on the high school, on the space, and when we're going to be actually asked to relocate. But at this point, as far as I know, everything's on hold. Tom, is that what you?
Yeah, that's my understanding of it too. That
Yes.
was-
So, we're still in the process of exploring alternatives, but it's really at a very low level exploratory
Gotcha.
phase. There's a lot that has to be done and decided upon before we make any decisions at all. The other thing we're doing is we're working with a couple of consultants to try to help us identify what would make sense
Sure.
in terms of, what we believe our requirements are, and is there something out there in a location that makes sense for us, that's not hidden away, that we can afford? And by affording, we'll have to launch a capital campaign at some point.
Mhm.
So, there's really, there's a lot of work that has to be done. And frankly, we've been spending, I think, most of our energy on the contract, and,
Yeah, of course.
you know, talking about, excuse me, how the final contract will affect us, and
Mhm.
what we will have to work with capital. Uh, So in terms of, I don't know if you watch the station at all. There's been a really good expansion of programming.
There
And
has.
yeah, there's a lot of good stuff going on just on the air
Mhm.
that, I don't know how many people are aware of, but you can see a lot on the Vimeo channel.
We've
And so,
actually provided a couple of things. I have now filmed 2 exercise classes at the Council on Aging with Melissa, who does programs for seniors.
right?
They're hugely popular on our channel 18 as well as on our YouTube channel, but I sent them to Lower Cape TV and they air on their schedule, and we've gotten really great feedback. So they've done a wonderful job stepping up and trying to provide that kind of community support to people. But I'm glad to hear that they've been re-upped for funding at an appropriate level, and they're happy with what they got in the contract.
And there are a couple of grant possibilities that have, it's probably too soon to talk about any of them because they have not been completely approved. We did get a grant from the Mass Cultural Council for a feasibility study.
Good.
And so that's exciting. Again, we'll have to come up with a match, and
Mhm.
that's daunting. And and there are other interesting possibilities out there. Lower Cape TV is, I think, becoming a real player. Would you say, Tom,
Yeah,
in the
absolutely.
world of community television? Would you agree?
Yes, yes. And all the programming that's been put together around the COVID and all that, I think
Mhm.
it's very impressive.
Yeah, they're ubiquitous. I see their logo everywhere. I see their videos everywhere. They've really done an excellent job integrating with the community. So
Well,
I'm glad
that's an
they're
important
pleased.
thing because they put out a survey,
Mhm.
um, and a number of the responders really didn't know much about Lower Cape TV. So this was an interesting eye opener, and something that we realized, well, we've got to step up our marketing.
Mhm.
So I'm glad that you're noticing.
I'm on social. I'm not a Twitter or an Instagram person, but I'm on Facebook quite a bit for the town and for myself, and I see them everywhere on Facebook. So they're pretty. If you're sort of a digital person in the first place, I think they're everywhere. But to reach those people who are not online a whole lot but watch TV, yeah,
Mhm.
I'm sure that they're coming up with creative ways to do that.
Yes, yes, they are. It's an exciting and challenging time.
Oh yes.
So, Tom, what do you have to say now that I took?
Boy, I tell you, it's something to behold, the whole business. So it's and really, this is going to be a really rough winter for a lot of people. So I hope we can keep doing something at Lower Cape TV. I know basically, the town, the stuff you're doing, Mia, is perfect. What we're doing here, because that's what we do. But Lower Cape TV could really find improve on the niche we're already doing over there. So I'm pretty impressed, pretty happy about it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Mark, we'll see how people are managing in this world. So
Yes, a lot of the work is being done remotely, and
Yeah.
somehow they're managing to stay on top of it.
Somehow they're managing. That's the 2020 motto. Somehow.
Right, managing, exactly. So
Well,
that's
thank you for the informative update
okay.
on Lower Cape. Yeah, I'm always glad to hear that they're doing well. Anything else from anybody? Okay.
No.
I hope to see you both on the 24th. I will email you all with the agenda when she's finalized it, just so we know where we might be. And then we'll schedule a meeting at some point after that, after the public hearing has been posted.
Mhm.
And I hope that you stay safe and well and you don't travel for Thanksgiving.
No,
And you
no.
still manage to have a festive time.
Yeah. Thank you, Mia.
All right.
You
Yeah.
too. You too.
Thank you. I'll be here. Me and my cat. We're gonna have a festive Thanksgiving.
Good
Me
time
and
to
my cat, turkey. That's right.
think about getting a cat.
You should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need some interaction with something that's alive. you know?
Yes,
Oh,
I have a plan.
Fred. You have Fred. He counts.
I'm not talking about me. I was talking about Tom. No, I
Yes.
have lots of
I like
interaction with Fred, you can imagine.
All right. Would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn?
Sure, I will.
And
All
I'll
right.
say,
What time is it? 10:47?
10:47. All in favor?
All right.
300. We are adjourned at 10:47 a.m. Thank you all so much. I will talk to you soon. Be well.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, before you hang up, who made who seconded it?
I-
Tom?
Tom moved. I seconded, didn't I?
No, you moved it. I seconded it, I think so.
That's what happened. Already we forget. I moved it. Tom seconded it.
Okay, so
And
it
we
was
all voted.
Mia and then Tom.
Yes. George, thank you for joining us. You're welcome anytime. We love having the public here.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, everybody.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right.